Happy New Year. It is so crazy to be sitting here filming the first video of 2024. Like, what happened? What is time? I don't know. Hey, I'm Amber. Welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome to my channel. I thought it would be really fun to film something kind of like New Year's related for this first video of the new year. So today I am going to be talking about habits in the new year that I want to kick, keep, and create. To be honest, I am kind of like a habitual goal setter, so I have never really been one to set goals for the new year because I'm setting goals all throughout the year that I want to accomplish and achieve. So if anything, my New Year's resolution for the first couple days of the new year is to not think about what goals I want to achieve. And I've also always felt like you don't need to wait for the start of a new year to do something that you want to do. Like if you're in August and you're like, I want to do this, don't wait till January, just do it. And so I think this year, especially for me being a new mom, I actually truly want to back off from constantly setting and achieving goals. Like my really only goals for this upcoming year are just to be a good mom, be a good wife, and honestly, to grow this channel and this community. That's kind of all I got. So instead, I thought it would be good to just sit down and think about my habits, because our habits on their own don't seem like that big of a deal. Like one good habit here, one bad habit here, it's kind of just whatever, it's just one thing. But when you think about it, our habits affect our mood, they affect our health, our well-being. Our habits are who we are, essentially. And making this list was really, really interesting for me because I actually found that I don't necessarily have a ton of good or bad habits right now. I have a couple of each, but I think just because right now I'm 6 months postpartum, and so much of my life right now still revolves around taking care of my little boy. So I definitely have more habits that I want to create than the other two. So I thought that was really interesting, and that's probably common for a new mom. You kind of just lose yourself in motherhood, which isn't a bad thing. It just is. Okay, so let's just get right into it. I guess we're not really getting right into it. I kind of gabbed for a little bit. Okay, so first talking about habits that I want to kick or get rid of. So the first one is being on my phone, but specifically being on my phone while I'm doing something else. Like when I'm eating is a really good one, or in the bathroom, honestly. That's one where I take my phone with me to the bathroom and I'm like, why can't I just go to the bathroom and just be done? Why do I need to be entertained or scrolling while I'm doing my business? So that's a big one. And also being on my phone first thing in the morning and then right before bed as well. As far as first thing in the morning, I kind of go back and forth. Sometimes I do it and then sometimes I don't. But at night, I definitely scroll a decent amount at night. And right now we live in a 1-bedroom apartment. So something I've tried to start doing is when I put my son to bed in our room, I just leave my phone in here as well, because when you put that baby down, you want them to stay down. And so I know I'm not gonna come back in here to get my phone, and we don't come in our room at all until we're ready to go to sleep. So that's been kind of helpful, but I really want to buckle down more on that. And I've thought about, doing the whole at meal times with the family, just everyone, me and my husband, and sometimes my husband's other son, who is my stepson, but that just sounds weird. I've thought about just saying okay, we're all gonna put our phones over here just so that there is zero temptation. Is that too controlling? I don't know. I just feel like it'd be a good habit because I don't want all of us to just be staring at our phones while we're eating together, especially with my little baby boy. I don't want him to think that that's a normal thing, The next habit is watching TV before bed. That is kind of a newer one since my son was born. Actually, since I've been pregnant, because when I was pregnant, I was just so sick that I became a permanent couch potato for the first half of the pregnancy. And then the second half, I wasn't as sick, but I was just really, really tired. And so kind of a similar thing. So I kind of just got in the habit of watching TV before bed because I was just kind of like all the time and didn't really have the energy to like read or do yoga or something else. And it's kind of just continued on since my son is born. I think this one will be a lot easier to change because Alex and I are actually getting ready to move in a couple of months into a bigger space. So that will be really helpful because right now, again, small space, 1-bedroom apartment, we put my son to bed and then Alex and I are just in the living room, and Alex likes to watch TV before bed, which that's totally fine. Like, he can do what he wants to do, but it's harder for me to like read or to be able to do something more relaxing and calming when we're both just in the living room and he wants to watch TV. And so yeah. So honestly, those are the only 2 habits that I could think of that were like pretty not good. They're definitely both not great habits for sure. But moving on to habits that I want to keep. So the first habit that I want to keep is making from scratch homemade meals, and then also ingredient type foods like bread. I guess that's not really an ingredient, but it's like a basic staple. Bread, simple syrup is something I've been making. Marshmallows, which actually can be decent for you if you put gelatin, like bovine gelatin in them. Broth is something I've just started making, and I'm really loving that because you can save a bunch of your kitchen scraps, like things that you would throw away. If you don't compost, this is a great option. You just like save them in a freezer bag, and then once you have a ton, you can make, like a vegetable or a bone broth or something like that. I really want to try my own butter soon. I haven't given that a whirl yet, but just things like that. I think it's so nourishing for your body and your soul to go back to the basics and like not buy everything, but to like find joy in the simplicity of just making these items that are so convenient to go get at the store, but aren't necessarily the best for your health, especially these days. The second habit that I want to keep is to continue reading every single day. When I first had my son, I was kind of struggling because I was just so tired, but after like a couple of months, I got into this habit of reading when I was up with him at night, feeding him because it would take him a while, and I've kind of just continued with that. Sometimes I read during his naps. It just depends on how I'm feeling energy-wise, but definitely every single time at this point when I get up with him at night to feed him, or if he's not feeling good, I'm just holding him, I'll read. So even if it's just like a few pages every day, that's something that I really want to continue because I love to read. Like, I would rather read than watch TV any day. I would get rid of the TV, but Alex likes it, so it's fine. The next habit is kind of a small one, but I do feel like it's a good one, and that is eating food before caffeine first thing in the morning. There are times sprinkled in where I'll have like a coffee or a tea before I eat breakfast, and I've just found that like never ends up being a good option for me. A lot of times because I end up getting full from the tea or the coffee, and then I don't want breakfast, and I know that that is not a great habit to get into. So more often than not, I eat my breakfast, and then I don't even drink coffee or tea while I'm eating my breakfast. I always do it afterwards because I feel like I can't fully enjoy it if I'm having it with my breakfast, if that makes sense at all. I don't know. That's just kind of like one of my weird isms. Like, I want to just have the drink by itself. So that's something I definitely want to continue. The last habit that I want to keep that I already have, see, I told you this is like a short list of habits to kick and keep, is to continue incorporating more herbal teas and tonics into my daily routine. And this is something that I've kind of just been starting out small with because I feel like there is a lot of like research that you have to do before you just buy all these random things, because a lot of times with these like herbal supplements and teas, tonics, there are things that will say like, oh yeah, they're good for you, but then there will be like just as much research that are like, I don't know, like especially if you're breastfeeding, like, oh, be careful. So I feel like I have to be extra careful, but I really love using natural things, like I said, like herbs, whatever, supplements, medicinal mushrooms. Actually, I don't know if it's like cordyceps. I don't know. Not like, I don't know, the ones that make you hallucinate. That's not what I'm talking about. Not those. But I love using things like that to just help support your body, your mood, whatever it is. So I've started small. Like I said, right now I actually have like a batch of nettle leaf tea brewing because I read that that's supposed to be really good for helping increase like your milk supply and quality. So I'm going to give that a whirl and see what happens. But yeah, just things like that I would like to continue doing. I think that one's just sometimes tough because it also gets like a little bit overwhelming. Like I can't have all the herbs in the world, or I guess I could, but then at that point you need to like dedicate a ton of time to research like what can you mix with what and what supports what. But just having like a few things on hand that you regularly use I think is nice. Before we get on to the last part of this video, if you are enjoying this and you like motherhood, healthy living, kind of crunchy content, please subscribe to my channel. It really helps me out and I would love to see you around here more often. Okay, so the last part of this video is habits that I want to create. And a lot of these habits, not all of them, but a lot of these habits are habits that I have had before, especially before I got pregnant. And I got pregnant, like I said, I got really sick, and a lot of these just kind of fizzled out and I haven't really picked them up since having my son, but I really want to going forward. So the first habit is to get back into a consistent workout / movement routine, because I don't think you always have to work out, but I think just like 10 to 15 or even 5 minutes a day of like some sort of movement is so good for your body and your mind. Honestly, a lot of times when I'm feeling anxious or something like that, if I just like do yoga for 5 minutes, I feel loads better. So I used to work out every other day, but I did something active almost every single day. So I would like to get back into that, but like I said, kind of just like lowering my standards for how long I need to do it for. I think anywhere from like 5 to 15, 20 minutes as a mom is plenty. If you can do more, great. But if you feel like you don't have enough time, 5 minutes sometimes can make a huge difference. The next thing is meditating daily. And I've gone back and forth with this habit for like years. Like I'll be super consistent and then I fall off the wagon for like months. But I know that every time I'm consistent with it, it is just, it's so good for my body and especially my mind. Like I feel like I'm just able to think more clearly. I'm more level-headed, more patient, just overall happier with life and myself. So I think just like my thought is that even just 3 minutes a day of meditation, even if it's just like counting inhales and exhales, it's just anything, guided meditation, just sitting there with a mantra, anything would be really good. So I really want to do that and just start out small. The next thing is drinking more water. I have a big pink jug. I actually showed it in one of my pregnancy updates because I got so dehydrated one day when I was pregnant that I almost passed out, you guys. So I went and bought this huge, I think it's like 64 ounces or something like that, huge pink water bottle, and I on and off use it. And truly the main reason that I get kind of lazy about it is because I just get lazy about washing it, and I feel like you probably should wash it like every day or every other day. And so I'll like use it for a day or two and then I have to wash it and I'm just like, oh my God, just like I don't want to wash it. So I just like leave it on the counter for a couple days, but like I don't drink out of it because I'm like, I need to wash it. So I need to get better about filling it up, washing it at night, leaving it out to dry. It's like such a stupid thing because it's just pure laziness, but I need to get better at drinking more water throughout the day, especially breastfeeding, because breast milk is like mostly water, and so it's so important that you stay hydrated. But even if you're not breastfeeding, like you need to drink water, so I need to drink water. Next is making healthy homemade snacks. I already am really good about making my own meals, but when it comes to snacks, I definitely purchase more like store-bought snacks. And I always try to have like some fresh snacks on hand, like some fruit or veggies or something like that. But I do like to have like little protein bar type things like the Lara bars. I don't think those are like technically protein bars, but I like to have some things like that on hand that are like a little bit more dense, I guess. And so I have in my life gone through phases where I've made my own little like protein balls and roasted nut type snacks and things like that, like trail mixes. So I really want to try to get better at getting back into that and just being like really consistent about it. I think I just get so overwhelmed. Like there's so many snack items that I want to try that it can feel sometimes overwhelming, but that's something I want to start doing. The second to the last habit that I want to create is stepping outside daily, even if it's just for a few minutes. If you haven't noticed, the theme here is like, with most of these habits is like, even if it's just for a little bit, that's fine. I think I'm just, again, like trying to kind of set the bar a little bit low to make sure that I am able to hold myself more accountable. You know, like you can definitely step outside for a couple of minutes every single day. So that is a goal of mine. Even if it's hot out, even if it's cold out, just going outside, even if I just stand there for a couple minutes and breathe in some fresh air, I really want to make it more of a priority. Ideally, I would love to take like a walk or like take Kai to the park or something like that. But yeah, even if it's just for a few minutes to breathe in some fresh air, that will do. And the last habit is to create a more solid skincare routine, because since having my son, I have just let my skincare routine like completely go off the deep end. And you know, your skin is your biggest organ, and so it is definitely important to take care of it. And I don't think it has to even be anything crazy. Like I think honestly, just washing and moisturizing your face morning and night is a great start. I ideally would like to add in some, you know, luxe or like luxury type things in there, if that makes sense. You know, like I have some little gel eye patches, or I like to do a face mask occasionally, something like that. So I really want to get back into that, especially because like that just feels like a gift. And I guess it is. It just really is a gift to yourself to just take care of your skin. And it just like, it actually feels good to like wash your face and put on cream, you know? So definitely something that I want to do. Again, something that will be easier once we have a bigger space, because right now, like if Kai goes to bed early, and he definitely gets like cranky as his bedtime approaches, so sometimes there's not time to go and wash my face, or if there is time, it doesn't feel like it, because it's just like, okay, like boom, 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 trying to get him to bed, and then we put him to bed and our bathroom is in our bedroom. So then it's like, well, too late now to wash my face. But again, in a couple months, that'll get a lot easier. That is all I have for you. I hope that you enjoyed this and that it gave you some inspo for your own 2024 or whatever year this is in the future, goals, resolutions, or intentions. If it did, please give this video a thumbs up. I hope that your new year is off to a beautiful start. And if it's not, then I hope that things turn around for you. And you know, maybe setting some intentions could help you do that for sure. I will see you in the next one. Bye.